Tonight on To The Point, the Trump transition from immigration to education and our environment, the impacts California could soon see. Plus, as Trump's cabinet picks testify on Capitol Hill, our verified team looks at when they could take office.
Temperatures expected to plummet overnight, how cold we could get into the morning hours.
And later, the American nightmare, a convicted kidnapper and rapist pleading guilty to more crimes. Tonight, what's next in his case? Good evening. Thank you so much for ending your week with us here on To The Point. I'm Alex Bell. And in 3 days, President-elect Donald Trump will be sworn in as the 47th president. Inauguration preparations have been in the works for a year, but tonight, frigid temperatures are forcing events to go indoors because wind chills are expected to be 5 to 10 degrees during Monday's swearing in, making it the coldest inauguration in 40 years. Trump announcing today the inauguration address, in addition to prayers and other speeches, will be delivered from the Capitol Rotunda. The last time cold weather forced an inauguration indoors was all the way back in 1985 during President Ronald Reagan's second swearing in. Now, Trump has promised to make many actions day one in office. And as we've been reporting on ABC 10, California leaders are debating allocating money to, quote, Trump-proof the state. Existing policies could be in jeopardy. So ABC 10's Jeannie Nguyen joins us with 3 issues that you should be watching.
California lawmakers here at the state capitol are currently in a special session to debate any costs that could potentially lead to legal fights to keep California policies in place. Number one, and it's the biggest one, immigration. Throughout Trump's presidential campaign, he made a number of promises about securing our borders and mass deportations.
I don't want to be breaking up families, so the only way you don't break up the family is you keep them together and you have to send them all back.
Sacramento-based attorneys believe this could also mean the end of the temporary protected status and DACA programs. California has the largest number of active DACA recipients.
The Attorney General has already started also doing Know Your Rights presentations, which I think shows a lot of the commitment of California to making sure that families feel supported.
Number 2 is climate.
We're going to drill, baby, drill.
California has already prepared for a rollback on climate initiatives. Just recently, the California Air Resources Board, or CARB, withdrew its waiver for advanced clean fleets regulations from the EPA. The state believed the Trump administration would not have approved it.
He has no love for California's efforts to reduce emissions. So if California sought a waiver in the next 4 years, they wouldn't get it.
Number 3 is education. The California Department of Education currently receives $7.9 billion a year in federal education funds for public schools. But Trump has threatened to get rid of the U.S. Department of Education, leaving California educators wondering what could happen.
Let me be clear, this is not a partisan issue. This is an issue of continuing to assure that students have access to the resources that they are entitled to under the law.
As for what will actually happen, only time will tell. At the Capitol, Jeannie Nguyen, ABC 10.
On Inauguration Day, we will be watching to see if Trump pardons those involved in the January 6th riots at the nation's capital. Some convicted in those crimes come from the greater Sacramento area, as President Trump can pardon anyone convicted in federal court, District of Columbia Superior Court, or in a military court-martial. Also, ABC 10 will be streaming the second inauguration of President-elect Donald Trump. Trump and Vice President-elect J.D. Vance are scheduled to be sworn in at 9 a.m. on Monday morning. Make sure you stick with us for that day for our coverage. The ABC 10 Plus app is free to download wherever you stream on your TV. Meanwhile, today, Trump's cabinet pick for Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem faced grilling from senators on Capitol Hill on how or whether she would execute his campaign promises. Noem says she is determined to carry out Trump's plan to stop illegal immigration, saying she would prioritize deporting migrants with criminal records once in office, then turn to those who have received final deportation orders. She had this to say when asked about U.S. immigration policies.
Do you believe in legal vetted immigration and that we need more of it in the United States?
I do believe we need to follow our legal immigration laws and that it needs to be vetted. We need more resources, I believe, in some of the elements of this to ensure.
Do you believe that our economy depends and needs some level, just like your family came from Norway and on economic, drive and wanted a better life?
Immigration's always been a part of our history and will be a part of our future. We just need to make sure that we're adhering to our nation's laws, which this body has the ability to
I'm with you.
continue to change and to put in place.
If confirmed, Nome would oversee U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, and Citizenship and Immigration Services. Trump's cabinet picks are still going through the confirmation process. Of course, it's something that we are continuing to follow. Casey Decker from our National Verified team explains what happens next and when they could be confirmed.
In the weeks after he won the election, Donald Trump named several nominees for key roles in the federal government. So when do those people take office? It depends. The Constitution says federal officers need to be nominated by the president and confirmed by the Senate. In modern times, the confirmation process usually involves the nominee filling out questionnaires, going through background checks, and answering questions in a Senate committee hearing. The president can't formally submit nominees to the Senate until he's inaugurated. But the Senate usually starts the process for the most important positions ahead of time. That's why there have already been hearings this week for key roles like Defense Secretary and Attorney General. As soon as Trump is sworn in, he can officially submit the names, and the Senate can vote to confirm those appointees right away. But for the hundreds of less critical jobs, it may be weeks before their process gets completed. And some jobs may not get filled at all.
New tonight, Israel's cabinet has approved a deal for a ceasefire in Gaza, pausing the 15th-month war with Hamas. The ceasefire will take effect Sunday. The deal includes a plan to release more than 30 hostages, including Americans held in Gaza. Hundreds of Palestinian detainees are also set to be released. This is the first of what is supposed to be 3 phases of a deal. The second and third phases are still being negotiated. We are continuing to track the wildfires burning in Los Angeles. It's been 10 days since the deadly wildfires ripped through communities. Firefighters are making ground containing the Eaton and Palisades fires. The fires have led to at least 27 deaths, and tonight search and rescue crews are looking for more than a dozen people still reported missing. The fires damaging or destroying at least 12,000 homes and businesses, including schools and churches.
I can tell you the entire city family is working collaboratively to get you back into your homes and communities as soon and as safely as possible.
LA officials have announced phase 1 of the rebuilding process. It involves the EPA coming in to remove chemical and hazardous materials from damaged homes and businesses. A more than 12-hour-long standoff in Sacramento's Natomas neighborhood has ended. It all started when Sacramento officers responded to a domestic violence call on Orchard Lane around 8:30 just last night. The victim was able to get out of the apartment, but the suspect refused to come out. SWAT and hostage negotiation teams were on the scene for several hours. The suspect later died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Still ahead, a convicted kidnapper and rapist pleading guilty to more crimes. What's next in Matthew Mueller's case?
Daytime highs in the upper 50s today, but cold overnight lows. How long? Those will continue.
And later on the back roads, how you can explore the San Diego Bay in less than 2 hours. All right, let's dive right into our local forecast here. It has been cold. It's the storyline of the week here for the weather. It's just been cold, especially those overnight early morning temperatures.
Yeah, they definitely have been. And we've been looking at a lot of frost on the grass, on your rooftops. I mean, it's just continuing day after day. Well, aside from that frost, we're also going to see the development of more fog out there into our early morning hours, especially tomorrow morning. Even through the mid-morning hours, we could see some of that visibility dropping. Dry, sunny weather does continue, and then gusty winds could be picking up by Monday. As we take a look at our visibility into our morning hours, around 8 a.m., we're seeing about 1/3 of a mile in visibility from areas of the Central Valley along 99 all the way into Sacramento, with some of that visibility continuing to be pretty low even through the mid-morning hours. By lunchtime, you'll still be seeing about 3 to 5 miles in visibility all the way down into the Central Valley spots. Now, a high pressure system is in place, allowing for that cold air to still move in, creating that frost in our morning hours, but we're seeing a lot of light winds. It's not really going to be until we get to Monday we'll see some of those winds beginning to pick up. Through the coastal range spot, 25 to 30 mile per hour wind gusts may be expected, with strong winds coming in out of the east, those downslope winds for the Sierra. Now, looking at our 500 millibar chart, high pressure ridge continues to build with a little bit of a trough beginning to push into Southern California, increasing wind speeds there for them Monday to Tuesday. it really won't be until we start moving toward the following weekend that we may even see, and this is really preliminary, a trough beginning to dig into California and maybe potentially even a low pressure system. If this happens, this may make way at least for some potential storm systems moving into February. We're likely to be colder for the next 2 weeks out, but we're also starting to lean wetter potentially for the next 2 weeks out. So by that second week, we may even be seeing some areas of even precipitation for Southern California. So we're hoping that's true because we do need that rain. We are way behind in our water year. Upper 50s to low 60s for the next 3 days. And then we'll continue to see that trend with those temperatures upper 50s to low 60s. But check out the overnight lows. They really aren't budging from those mid 30s as we continue on toward that following weekend with plenty of sunshine still in store.
All right, Carly, thank you so much. Coming up onto the point, the American nightmare, a convicted kidnapper and rapist pleading guilty to more charges. What helped investigators pin him to those crimes? Plus, why dozens of nurses walked off the job in San Joaquin County today. Today, Matthew Mueller, the man behind the notorious 2015 kidnapping of Vallejo resident Denise Huskins, pleaded guilty to 2 home invasions in Santa Clara County. The invasions took place back in 2009, but they were investigated again in part and thanks to Huskins' case. Reporter Tim Johns has more on what's next in this case.
Matthew Mueller pled guilty in a San Jose courtroom Friday. Mueller admitting he committed 2 home invasions in 2009, one in Palo Alto and one in Mountain View. During those home invasions, Mueller held captive, interrogated, and threatened to rape 2 women. The minimum sentence for each of Mueller's Friday convictions is 7 years to life in prison. Santa Clara County Deputy District Attorney Brian King says he hopes Friday's events can help bring closure to those involved.
When a case goes unsolved, it leaves an open wound. And while a conviction might not heal that wound, it starts the next chapter in that process.
Whatever jail time Mueller serves from his Friday convictions will be on top of his existing sentences related to the 2015 kidnapping and rape of Denise Huskins. That incident attracted international attention after the Vallejo Police Department wrongfully called Huskins' story a hoax. King says with Huskins' support, the police chief of a Monterey County town began corresponding with Mueller by letter while he was in prison. Those exchanges ultimately leading to Mueller confessing to the 2 South Bay home invasions.
It's important to recognize that what happened to Denise and to Aaron was awful. It was horrible, but they turned it into a force for good and a force for change.
Mueller also confessed to a previously unreported kidnapping in San Ramon in 2015. He is now facing charges in Contra Costa County for that crime.
Former Oakland Mayor Sheng Tao is one of 4 people named in a new federal grand jury indictment. Tao, her longtime partner Andre Jones, and 2 prominent Bay Area businessmen face charges that include bribery, mail fraud, and wire fraud. Prosecutors say the illegal scheme began back in October of 2022, just a month before the mayoral election. Tao has pleaded not guilty and faces a maximum of 95 years in prison. Tonight, hundreds of nurses walked off the job in San Joaquin County as negotiations for a new contract hit a deadlock. The California Nurses Association represents almost 1,000 nurses at county medical facilities. They authorized a strike, accusing the county of violating their contract while negotiations for a new one were ongoing. In a statement, the county did not address the allegation, but said that they have met with the union 19 times since the old contract expired in April. The most recent meeting was yesterday, but the county says that they are still at odds with the union in 20 different areas. Hospital officials say they have prepared for the strike and that most departments, like the emergency room, are operating business as usual.
In addition to our nurses that we have brought on board, we also have asked our physicians to increase their presence. We are rescheduling elective surgeries.
The strike is set to end at 7 a.m. on Saturday. The next step will be an impasse meeting, and if no agreement is made, then a third-party mediator will have to be brought in. Changes are coming to a stretch of road along Highway 70 in Marysville. It's called the Binney Junction Project. The project is concentrated mainly between 14th Street near the Marysville Cemetery entrances. Caltrans says it will create better conditions for bicyclists and pedestrians, widen the road, and address clearance issues for trucks. The project also includes work on 2 levees, the railroad, as well as a main sewer line. Construction is set to begin in fall of 2025 and last about 2 years. All right, it's time to hit the back roads with Mr. John Bartell, and tonight he's taking us on a tour of the San Diego Bay while riding a very unusual vehicle.
When Spanish explorer Juan Cabrillo discovered San Diego Bay in 1542, it took him days to explore the surrounding area.
2, 1, sea lions!
But now, tourists can explore the bay in just under 2 hours by taking the Seal Tour.
Do you suppose Juan Cabrillo, he really would have liked to have this vessel instead of this one when he rolled in here?
I think it would have helped him out.
Not to be confused with a World War II duck boat, the Seal Tour, which stands for Sea and Land, is a custom 39-foot-long amphibious vehicle that holds over 40 passengers.
This is called a Hydroterra. It's designed for the road and the water, and we're the only ones in San Diego that do this.
Tour guide Dan Strobar gives one of the most versatile tours of San Diego, which takes you through the picturesque and historic streets, right before splashing down in the waters of the bay.
This is the one chance you might get carsick and seasick?
Very good. Yes, you're right. That could happen.
Motion sickness is not really a problem for most riders. The Seal Tour moves about 5 miles an hour in the calm waters of the bay, and there's plenty to look at in the open-air seating.
Now, here we go. We've got a tremendous amount of sea lions here on the left.
Despite being called Seal Tours, you're more likely to see sea lions instead of their smaller and quieter cousin, the seal.
How big are we talking?
Well, we're talking, there's a couple of them over here, 500, 600 pounds. And they'll eat 5% of their weight in fish every day.
Really?
So they'll eat that, and then they'll go into like a fish coma, and they'll sleep for 15 to 18 hours.
San Diego Bay attracts all sorts of aquatic life because Point Loma acts as sort of a shield from the open ocean.
We got some what are these, the blackbirds?
They're the cormorants, they're members of the penguin family. They're very good divers.
Penguin family?
Yeah.
Along with wildlife, the calm waters in the bay also attract military ships and sailboats. That's why explorer Juan Cabrillo anchored here in 1542. In fact, a replica of Cabrillo's ship, the San Salvador, still tours the bay today.
So if we were here in 1542, this is what we would see.
Of course, though, the bay looks much different and deeper.
The original harbor, the maximum depth would be 15 feet. Right now we're at about 20, 25 feet of water. The channel over here has 60 feet of water. This island over here is all made from the dredging of the harbor.
Juan Cabrillo died just a few months after discovering San Diego Bay, but thanks to his maps, other explorers were able to turn the city of San Diego into what it is today. Riding the Seal Tour in San Diego Bay, I'm John Bartell. Hope to see you on the back roads.
To watch all of John's stories, visit abc10.com/backroads. We can also send a map straight to your phone to help you plan your next road trip adventure. Just text backroads to 916-321-3310. Next, on To the Point, the mobile thrift store helping bring kindness to the community, how they are helping survivors of the LA wildfires. Many people are still dealing with the devastating impacts of the wildfires in Los Angeles, and some families were just left with nothing, including clothes, which is exactly why one man, Rusty Blackwell, is taking his mobile thrift shop and heading straight to Los Angeles. Rusty's Kindness Mobile helps raise money for nonprofits that support single mothers, suicide prevention initiatives, animal rescue, and underseen communities. All the money made at the thrift shop goes straight to helping people in need. But this time, His mobile thrift shop is not selling, but giving away all of its clothes for free to Los Angeles wildfire victims.
Let people come on board and take everything for free.
Everything for free.
Everything.
We're gonna empty out the bus.
We're gonna drive back empty. Wow. We have to, because again, this is bigger than us, and it's clothing. It's, you know, basic necessities. I heard a child on the news this past week saying, you don't think about not having underwear. You don't think about not having socks. Yeah. You don't think about those things that you take for granted. So we're just going to try and remedy that as best we can.
And if you would like to make a donation to Rusty's Kindness Mobile, you can reach out directly to the Kindness Mobile thrift shop at the email address that's on your screen right now, or you can also head to our ABC 10 page. We have their website listed on our links mentioned page that you can find right there. As always, thank you so much for spending part of your day with us. If you have something that you think we should be looking into, make sure to reach out to me and the team. Remember, strangers are just people we haven't gotten the chance to meet yet, so take the time to get to know someone this weekend. Have a great weekend. Please be safe. And remember, To the Point does not end here. If you always want to watch stories featured on our show, you can download our free ABC 10 Plus app wherever you stream. Have a great night and a safe weekend. Hey, it's Alex. I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. The To The Point team and I love hearing from you, and I hope that you'll stay in touch. And don't forget, you can always email me and the team at tothepoint@abc10.com, or you can even send us a text message at 916-321-3310.